Is that pretty close to the center of mass? It is pretty close to the center of mass. Why am I rotating? I'm not really worried about why I'm rotating. Probably because that one intake up there. Nope, that makes it worse. It would be better if we had 2 intakes up there. Like that. And I almost want to... That's going to be a good seat to be sitting in, right? Never mind that the seats in these things have people laying on their back as they tug out from the runway. Some of them are laying on their back and some of them are flying forward. The last thing that we need... Let's go ahead and put some RCS on here. And I am just going to toss RCS build aid together really quickly. That's good. Kerbal Engineer off. Let's use some RCS build aid. I love RCS build aid. We're going to put 2 of those things up there. 2 of the things down here. Like that. And again, I'm just trying to put the RCS on the center of mass. It looks like I've got it kind of close. RCS build aid will tell me if I've mucked it up. Then let's also put these engines like that. Equidistance from either side, right? Oops, didn't mean to grab that. Same thing on this side. 2 of these equidistant from our RCS control block there. Basically, that means we've got 4 ports pushing in any direction we want to go, right? Let's go ahead and EOT, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. EOT something there following the channel. Thanks for the follow. Let's see here. We've got that. We've got that. Let's turn on the translation mode of RCS build aid. Alright, so we can see that whenever we try to translate in the up direction, we don't have any unintended rotation. Down direction, no unintended rotation. This direction, no unintended rotation. That direction, we are actually good to go there, people. That is actually pretty darn cool. This craft will be nice and stable whenever we're trying to dock so that we can get rid of these annoying crew members. Let's look at one last thing. Where was that engine? And it said I was going to rotate about the top, which meant that I had too much mass on the bottom. So I need more mass on the top. Let's see here. Let's see. I am actually going to see if I can't put maybe an RTG on here. Keep them warm while they're flying, really, right? We'll put it right here near the boarding doors. Does that fix some of our rotation? Does it make it better or worse with those RTGs? That is that. Oh, that's rotating us in the opposite direction now. That's actually too much weight. Can I just put RTGs somewhere in the middle over here? Really? Yeah, can I just put RTGs in the middle somewhere? Yes, look at that. By tucking those RTGs up into there, in 2x symmetry, we got rid of that engine rotation. That's pretty cool, honestly. Monoprop tanks on top. I think that I'm going to do monoprop tanks somewhere right in the center. So something like this. Monoprop is over here. I just don't need very much monoprop. And I'm going to try to put them right on the center of mass. I mean, you see me keep trying to put things right on the center of mass, right? Genitalia123, thanks for joining Kerbal Space Academy. We're doing Spaceplane. This is supposed to carry 8 Kerbals up to the orbit of Hilton. In addition, it's going to show how awesome the new parts in 2.5 or 0.25 are, because it will be a lot cooler when we don't have to make ugly duckling-looking crafts like this. Anyways, RCS build aid is telling me that when I have my engines thrusting, I will not have any unintended rotation. Let's change RCS build aid to translation mode. This is going to tell me that when I use my RCS in all directions, I don't have any unintended rotation. As we use fuel out of these tanks, I don't think that we're going to change very much. I think the other thing maybe we can do is increase that a little bit. No, let's just leave it down. We may have to pump some fuel around, but let's just leave it down for now. It doesn't make a lot of sense what I just did. Let's see what's going on here. Excellent. We are going to take this guy off, and we will see how he is able to fight action groups. Let's do some action groups last. I've got power generation. I don't have any power storage. Maybe some power storage would be good as well. Custom 1. This guy, activate engine. See how I put these on one at a time and I have to do every one at a time? Not toggle engine. Activate engine. This one, activate engine. These guys, those are put on with symmetry, so I can just do 2 sets of those. Shut down, shut down. Action group 2. Activate engine. Activate engine. Activate engine. Activate engine. Activate these guys. And activate these guys. Custom 3. activate these guys. Remember, this is our space-only mode. Shut down the air-breathing engines. Shut down the air-breathing engines. Shut it down. And shut it down. There we go. Put oxidizer back in the tanks. Now that I don't have the fuel lines. I don't think so, because we're still going to be... I think the... Let's see here. The thrust may still be the same, right? Actually, the balance may still be the same. Raven, 2012, I missed you there. Thanks for the follow. The actual usage may still be the same. I'm not exactly sure. We can always tweak it in the end. If we run out of oxidizer, then we'll know that we should put more oxidizer in, right? Anything else? Let's have a complete go cold mode. So over here, my action group 0 is shut down, shut down, shut down, shut down, shut down all these guys. That actually turns off all my engines. I use that when I'm docked to the station. Anything else? Maybe some lights would be good. I've got engineer. I don't really have any power storage. Why don't we do this? Aviation fanatics hate him because everybody knows that you're not supposed to have green lights on both of those wings. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. And I know what side the dorsal side is. I can go ahead and put 2 of these here just because, guys, I really like to be able to, when it's dark, see the dorsal side of my craft, so I very often put batteries with the lights on them. The stock batteries with the little green lights. I think this craft is looking good. I think it's looking good. We have more intakes. 4 more intakes, 1 for each engine. We've got those engines. We've got that. Let's see if we can't take... Did I miss anything else? Did I miss anything else? Space Kraken. Watching some video games. Any questions? Red, yeah, I know. They put the oxidizer. I'm just going to leave them that. Walrus, welcome back. Let me check the chat for questions. Red, take it easy. Monoprop tanks on top. I put them in the middle so that they were in symmetry, and they were right there. We're going to go... Am I tired? Nice. What's up, Calamari, by the way? McLovin had to take off. He's long gone. No Dr. Pepper in this stream. That's it. It's looking good for certain values of good. Big Potato, thank you for enrolling in Kerbal Space Academy. I think we're good. I think we're good. MeagleNet, get it running. You won't get to see Ducky docking. All right, let's get it running. Save it. Launch it. Let's see what we can do. I've got the orbital Hilton up in a buck 25 circular orbit. So what we're going to do is try to shoot for this guy into an 80K orbit, right? 80K. And see what we can do. We shall see. So, do I have... Oh, man, I'm like running low here on supplies. Whoa! How about that mass, though? Let's go ahead and throttle this guy up. Panel lock. Engineer, talk to me. Let's go ahead and activate that. That is a big old block of jet engines. Let's see if we can even go down the runway straight with this big old block of jet engines. We should also weigh a lot less because we don't have that poodle on there anymore, right? Oh, she wants to get off the ground. She got off the ground. Flies pretty good for a brick. Name the reference. Let us go to space with this thing. I like to believe that those things are actually welded together. They're not. I think we may have made some improvements to the craft by taking off those other engines. We reduced a lot of weight. By taking some oxidizer out, we probably reduced some weight. The RCS is good to go. I hope I didn't bone the action gear. Let's see here. That ass. Let's see. Armageddon. That's looking good. We're just going to fly up at a 45-degree angle. Talk to me, Iceman. Bruce Willis movie. Yeah, okay. Land a permanent base on the moon. That's interesting. 4 independently flyable engines that are attached with radial decouplers to the side instead of sky crane. Then take them off one at a time. You could totally do that. We're just going to go up at this angle until we reach about 15,000. Then we're going to try to level it off. Let's go ahead and just do some F5ing here because I want to get this docked with the station. The one with the nukes. You know, I don't even remember what I said. What quote did I even say? I don't even remember what I said. I never did put a light on it. That'll be okay. I mean, it looks like you could store a lot of stuff down here, a lot of massless stuff. It honestly doesn't have that bad a profile from the bottom. It has a terrible profile from the top. It has a terrible color scheme from the top, and it doesn't have a very good profile at all from the side. But the bottom, it doesn't look too bad. I do believe that this is just pulling fuel out of no. Ah! Dad blame it. We've got fuel lines there, apparently. That's lame. I forgot to take off those fuel lines. Oh, well, we'll be fine. Oh, she flies pretty good for a brick. Come on, nobody played Halo? Seriously? When he jumps out of the orbital max station onto the freaking Covenant ship? He, like, deorbits himself. He just jumps and guesses what his orbit is, and the chief says, flies pretty good for a brick. Come on now. I'm not even flying this thing pretty good for anything. Let's go ahead and level her off. I want to spend as much time as I can. I want to get my vertical speed. Look at this. Kerbal Engineer can actually tell me what my vertical speed is. I want this to be as low as possible when we get up to 20. I don't want to go under the atmosphere like I did last time, so I'm going to try right here. Hear those engines spool up. Look at that craft accelerate, yo. That's good. Asymmetric thrust already? No, 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 no. I think it may just be because I'm playing around with it. That right there looks good. Somebody tell me when I'm going to flame out and it'll be too late. There we go. Am I still gaining speed? Yes, I am. I may have been a little bit overconfident with the extra air intakes because I definitely... Is that good? Yeah, we want to keep that right even. I needed to throttle it down a little bit, and I tried to go a little bit too high too fast. Don't give me negative speed. I don't want to be going down. I still want to be going up. Up, 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 please. And we're just going to keep flying this thing, right? Where was my, does it have the air intakes? Vessel, I think, right? Let me see if I can get them right quick. Orbital, surface, vessel. Nope, this one doesn't have it. That's in the new Kerbal Engineer that has the relative speeds, or the air intake versus needed intake. That's the 1.0 version. I definitely recommend, if you want it, scroll down and get the 1.0 version. Because I'm using the 0.6 version of Flight Engineer. There's a newer, more better version that will actually tell you what your percentage of air intake is, basically. This is doing okay. I really want to get 1600 out of her, right? If I can get 16 or 1700 out of her, that is a good space line. You have... Those fuel lines are good because I have extra liquid fuel in those tanks. You're right. I hear them spooling down. I think my vertical speed is too high here. But we're still gaining, and I still hear those engines spooling down, right? There it is. You hear it? When they start to spool down like that, you can just listen to it. And I'm not getting really any more velocity out of those. So even though we put more air intakes on and we lessened the weight of the craft, my launch profile just wasn't as good that time. There was a flame out. Let's see if we can get it to orbit, though. I'm not sure if we can get it to orbit or not. And that was definitely not as good as last time. We wanted this number here. Look at that. Nope, we're too deep in the atmosphere. We are not going to get this to orbit because we are too deep in the atmosphere. So that was a very bad flight. We needed to stay down a little bit lower. In fact, maybe we could try that. Maybe we're not done yet. Let's go ahead and cut these engines. Let's go back to this mode. Let's see if we can save it. Nope, we're flaming out already. So see what happens? I'm flipping around. I was hoping that I could turn her back around, but because those engines are so close, nope. Just that mode. Let's get control of her again here. It's interesting that the first time we were able to get to orbit, we're going to dip back down. We're going to see, we still have lots of delta V in terms of those little engines, Let's see if we can get some more intake air here. We'll throttle it way down. We'll go into this mode, and we'll see if we can't do this again, spending more time at 20,000. We'll give it another try. Nothing wrong with that. Now we're gaining speed, and we have good intake air. But I want to pull this up, and I want to level her off right at 20 and fly for as long as I can at 20. Wow, the atmosphere is getting way too deep. So see, I went down to 18, the atmosphere got thicker, and so these engines with this thrust are not able to push me along. Let's see if we can't get that altitude back up. Botched spaceplane ascent. Way to stream, Das Valdez, way to stream. That's okay, I am not ashamed. Let's go ahead and see if I can't raise this back up. Overheat? Interesting, that's a very interesting concept. Now we're going back up. We're going to see if we can't gain as much speed as we can. More variables. You know what? You know why you don't work for NASA. There you go. What about dropping 2 engines? Yeah, you could do that. That would get rid of a little bit. Fire everything. Let's see what we can do here. I'm just going to take her back up to 20 and then try to level her off at 20. Because that is where the air is thick enough for us to get lots of orbital velocity out of this craft. So there we go. Am I level? Yeah, I'm looking okay. Vertical speed's dropping just a little bit, so let me see if I can nose up to compensate for it. And I just want to get as much speed as I can right here at 20, and then I will try to jump out of the atmosphere. Basically, I'm going to keep burning until... Yep, 4, 5, 6. We're still accelerating. I want all the speed I can get. And we need to start nosing up out of 20 to see if we can't get this thing to orbit. I'll go ahead and set my vertical speed like at 50. And see how much freaking speed we can get out of this. I would really like for the air to be thinner, because the entire balance of space planes is getting up into the thinner air where you can accelerate but still having enough intake air to run all of your engines. And one of the problems is here we have a lot of thrust, but with all those engines that we're carrying, that looks good right there. Look at us accelerating now. That looks really good. With all these engines we're carrying, we need a lot of intake air to keep them going. I'm listening for them to start whistling. There they go. We're still throttling down. I can still hear them whistling. But I'm still gaining speed, but not very much. I don't like it. I wonder if it's the drag from the additional intakes. I hear them spooling down though, and we're starting to get asymmetrical thrust like crazy. There they went. And I'm not out of the soup. See how that happens? You gotta keep using those intakes until you get out of the soup. I really wonder what it is that's causing that to happen. Let's just go ahead and burn it and see what we've got. 2,400 in the tank. Speed is decreasing. I don't think that one's gonna go to space. Need to use fire spitter. Yeah, okay, nice. Not when we're trying to do that. Peeling taters with my back turned. Nice. Put a black... Oh, no, I hate that. I'm sorry, but I don't like that porn star. That's one reason, that's one problem with the stock engines right now, is that, yeah, that's not going to take us to orbit. But we can fix it. We can definitely fix it. Needs more air intakes. We got it to 30 the first time. We also have too many engines. What if we use less engines? What if we use 2 engines in the middle instead of 4 engines? Maybe we're overbuilding it. Let us revert the flight back to the spaceplane hangar and see if we've got enough thrust from just 2 engines. We definitely have more than enough to get off the runway, right? So how do we fix this? The spaceplane keeps flaming out. That's a problem. Let's make it so that we have more intakes per... that. And if you have any other ideas you want me to try, definitely post them over into chat. There we go. Let's use this piece. Where is it at? It is under structural, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. No, that's not right. There we go. Let's put 2 of those turbojet engines on this guy and see how it works. Sugar Bagel! Thank you for joining Kerbal Space Academy. We're troubleshooting a space plane this evening. Can I put it on with 2x symmetry? Yes, I can. That's good. Makes our action group so much more easy. So much easier. Let's see if that... Because not only is that going to save us about 2 tons... I'm almost wondering if we almost have too much drag. Just present 12 engines. Use the Riker maneuver. Yes, Dylan, thank you. Couple of small SRBs. Nice. Use the radial mount tiny engines. Yeah, I'm not really a fan. We'll still get asymmetric thrust. It's just instead of spinning, we'll go up or down, right, Quantitas? So we totally need to do that. I almost wish that since those are symmetry, they'll flame out at the same time, but we know that that's not the case. Let us... You know something else? It may be that we're carrying way too much fuel in these tanks. I bet you that may be part of it. We probably have way too much fuel carrying to orbit. Not as bad. Yeah, not as bad. It looks cool this way, though. I'll fly it like this, and if it doesn't work, then I'll rotate it. You are right. What the guys are saying is that if I put it like that and one engine flamed out, we wouldn't have the same sort of asymmetric thrust. I like my viewers. We'll go ahead and do it just for you guys. It gives me more ground clearance if I put them the other way too. But let's try to fly it this way. Save it. Anything else? Any other suggestions? I'm going to check the chat. You have more pitch authority than yaw authority. Okay, fine. Use drop tanks. Nice. Engines need to be over 9,000. That's probably it. Did I miss anything else? Any other... We have way too much fuel. No, that is, with space planes, that's a real big problem. I'm actually going to take some of that fuel out, and we will see. I've got that. I've got that. We've got less engines. That means it's going to take us longer to get to orbit. I love those parts. Huh. Welder did not do a very good job that day when connecting those 2 parts. That's why we can't go to space. The plane's not even connected to the cockpit. Anything else? Angle of attack. So do a little bit higher of an angle of attack. Let's give this a try. Let's fix our action groups and see if we can't get this guy into space. Shut down you there. Activate. Custom 2. Activate those and activate these. Custom 3. Activate those and shut down those. Not toggle the engine. Activate engine. Activate engine. Yeah, that's right. I got it right. That's weird. There we go. Take the toggle off. Custom 10, the total shutdown. These guys here need to shut down. Save it. Let's see if we can't go to space. The more fuel you carry, the harder it is to get into space. I think that we were just running out of intake air there, and that first launch profile I did was a lot better. I think maybe those new intakes we put on were creating more drag, because they're pretty draggy, aren't they? I almost feel like we could get to space just with the... Roboto, we put the turbojets on, right? Boing. That looks good. Not really from the back, but, you know, whatever. Oh, we put the turbojets on because these turbojet engines that we're using are very efficient and give lots of thrust at high altitude, but they don't give the same thrust and efficiency at low altitude, right? So the other jet engines, the basic jet engines, are super efficient at lower altitudes and they become less efficient. Their power curve has less thrust at higher altitudes. But these jet engines right here, look at that, we're going down the runway like a champ. These turbojet engines, that's not enough thrust, honestly. I think we'll be able to take off, but we're not going to take off by the end of the runway. See how we're getting to the end of the runway? It's going to let us go to space, but these engines are not enough thrust for us. I'm pretty sure we'll fly, but we could not pull up, was the problem. So those guys right there, that's going to take us a lot longer, and it's going to be more difficult to get to space. You know what we could do? We could put more of those intakes on. Look at this. I don't have the thrust anymore. Do you see how my speed is dropping? And when my speed drops, my lift is going to drop. I could basically stall this thing out, right? But these guys are not enough... more air. Huh. These guys are not really enough thrust to push this up here. I honestly think that we have too much fuel on this craft. I think that with all of these, we have too much fuel and too much weight when we get up to those high altitudes. Khaleesi. Or Kaleza. Kaleza? Whichever one it is. Thank you for the follow. We are not going fast enough. This plane could definitely claw its way up to a higher altitude, right? But it is going to take this thing a long time to get to space. It really needs to get up into the really thin atmosphere before these engines are going to do anything for us. They'll be more efficient because we have more air intakes per engine when we get up there. But let's try to fly it and see what happens when we have a lot less thrust. I almost want to physics warp it just for the purposes of the stream. Use a basic jet engine at the top of the plane. Doesn't make a lot of things. Tri-coupler on the back or reduce fuel. Quantitas, I think reducing the fuel may be what we're going to try. Maybe tanks that are half this size, you know? There was another follow going off. Soccer Braun, thanks for the follow. I do appreciate it. Welcome to Kerbal Space Academy. I'm not going to do drop tanks because we're doing an SSTO here, and we're going to keep working on this thing until we get it to orbit. What's up, Duracell? How's it going? We are gaining a little bit of speed there, but this thing is just beating itself into the air. It's so inefficient. I mean, it just doesn't have very much thrust at all. Maybe if we put the jet engines over on the side and then we put 4 of these guys in the on that quad adapter, maybe that's the way we could do it. With the Rockomax as a booster. No, Pyrofire. That's one thing that a lot of people try to do to fix their spaceplane, right? They try to put a big rocket engine on there. If you take a big engine like that and you use that to get into space, activating air intakes instead of having them all active at launch, I don't think that that's going to make a huge deal for a soccer porn star. Softcore, soccer porn star. That doesn't make any sense. Soccer was Braun right above you. Softcore was your name. I don't think that that's going to make a big deal the way we're going. The amount of drag we're getting from those intakes, I don't think is consequential right now. We may honestly try to, Sand Bros! What's going on, Sand Bros? What is today? We are trying to fly this plane into orbit, and we're basically having to go over a lot of the different problems that we're having with the plane. Right now the problem is, with only 2 engines, there's not enough thrust. It's not pushing hard enough, and so we're having trouble getting very high. If he has drop tanks, it's not an SSTO. There you go. I was also saying that we were, I've seen a lot of people, and they're like, check out my SSTO. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You're not really flying a spaceplane profile, which is what we're trying to do here. You basically just have a rocket that flies at a 45-degree angle. And can you do it? Yeah, you can totally do it. You can just take off at a 45-degree angle and keep going and then have your engines automatically switch modes and that sort of stuff. But that's not really what an SSTO is in terms of the launch profile, right? I mean, I've seen videos and they're like, oh, sweet SSTO, and all it really is a rocket that takes off at a 45-degree angle and goes at that the entire time. What we're doing now, when we had our little overbuilt guy before, he took off like a rocket at a 45-degree angle, right? He still got into space. What we're trying to do now is get an actual spaceplane profile. And I think what the problem here is going to be, I mean, we've got the climb. This is so boring, though. I think what I may do is put the... no, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. And see what we've got. Let's just get up to the thinner atmosphere and see if these engines can push us into orbit when there's only 2 of them. 3 engines is totally going to ruin our... I wonder if there's some way that we could put 3 engines across the back. That may be what we try to do. Use 4 engines and turn off 2. That, Thader, I was actually just coming up to that. I think we're going to use 3 engines. And with 3 engines, we should have the appropriate amount of thrust to take off. But then we can just go to 1 engine when we get to the high altitudes. And then we're going to have basically buku air intakes for that 1 engine at the high altitudes. That's what we're going to try. And we're going to mount 3 in a line across the back. That's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. Does that mean it's about to blow up, Dylan? Look at this. I love the daylight in between those two parts. That node placement. There's your problem, DOS. You can't even select the craft. You can point through the craft. Apparently the force or something is holding those things up. In fact, y'all, instead of spending more time, drink the dead. Drink the dead. That's a very, like, hardcore name. Drink the dead. Thanks for the follow there. Sandbros should also probably click on follow. Instead of spending all the time it's going to take to fly this plane, let's go back and let's put 3 engines. And this is actually going to illustrate something we talked about earlier, right? Earlier, somebody said that they were having trouble with the asymmetric flameouts. That's what we were doing. We were having trouble with asymmetric flameouts. Let's see how we can fix the asymmetric flameouts here, because there are cool ways that we can do it. Instead of using one of these things, I'm actually going to come back here. And how can I put it off a little bit? I could put it like this. I know. That doesn't look so very aerodynamic, but it will make placing the engines easier. Vertical and horizontal. That is the space and the space plane. That's exactly right. Burning Mirage also, thanks for the follow. That is totally awesome. What I was going to do was put these things like this. What's up, Irish? How's it going? Watch your language. We're on KSP TV. Let's go and grab... I don't want the girders. They're too big. Let's grab the little octo struts and see if I can't put them here on the side, right? And let's lean the octo struts back like that and see if that's not going to allow me to put another jet engine on. Where's it at? There it is. How is that? That doesn't look very good because of this, but that will probably work like a freaking charm. And you know what else we could totally cheese up? I think I'll let this one slide, but I think we could totally cheese up now that we've got a couple more attachment nodes. Some of this action. Let's rotate them to the side. Yes! Look out your window into the jet air intake, my good passenger. Not much of a view there with the middle of the shroud, but that will give us a little bit more air intake. What else? Put on the double thing you had, attach a smaller double thing on one side. Huh? Let's see here. I almost don't even want these up here, right? In fact, replacing them with those ones in the back. Let's have a look. Let's try to fly it this way. Save. And go ahead and launch it. And before I do this launch, here's what I'm going to do. I do need to get another drink. I usually take a break at 10 o'clock and it's 10:30. So let me do this. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I will leave this on the runway. When I come back, we're going to launch it. And I'm going to just run and get another drink and hit the head right quick. I will be right back. Just give me 1 second. And we will launch this thing when I get back with another drink. Just 1 second, y'all. How far down the runway is this plane? Did anybody yell at me to put the brakes on? We're just rolling down the runway. Get the Kerbal out of there. Apparently we are just rolling down the runway. We haven't gone very far. Let's go ahead and see if this guy works. Action groups. I didn't do the action groups. We have to revert the flight to the spaceplane here and do the action groups. Thank you for being patient. I had to get another drink there. Because I am past. It's usually one 7.5 ounce Dr. Pepper per 2 hours of streaming. That is my expense. Ah, yes. That's why you set your brakes. Did I do that on purpose? Are these engines going to get fuel? I don't think they are right now. Because don't we need to? The Octostrut does fuel feed, isn't it? And I will go ahead and take it from there and put it to there. That was 1x symmetry. Let's try it again. 2x symmetry from there down to the strut should work. Alright, now let's do the action groups. So basically, let's set this up nice. Dump some fuel too. Blackbird, that is another thing we're going to try. We're debugging this thing one at a time. But we don't need nearly this much fuel, right? We definitely don't need that much fuel. I almost feel like we could get rid of half of that fuel. I've already dumped the fuel out of there, and we've dumped some oxidizer out of these tanks. But that is a good idea. We will try that next when we're actually tuning the spaceplane. So, action groups. Let's redo these things. One is going to be... What is that one that it thinks is still activating? One is going to be activate that engine. Activate those engines. And those are good. Yep. The Rockomaxes we didn't touch. This one is going to be activate the center engine. Interesting. Shut down these engines. And shut down the Rockomaxes. Which are these. Shut down engine. Shut down engine. Alright, 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 alright. Alright, then 3. Did I have that right on that one? Let's check 2 again. Shut down the Rockomaxes. Only activate the center turbojet. That's going to be our high altitude mode. 3, I'm just going to go straight to, because we don't care about the flame out. 3 is going to be shut down all the turbojets. Shut down the turbojet. Shut down and activate. Nice. And then activate the Rockomaxes. That's good right there. Let's see here. I'm going to check the chat, see what happened. When I am... Nice, Levelicious. Let's see if I missed anything in the chat. Quick, steal the plane. I've never actually tried that. Can you install mods on the demo? That's a good question. I totally forgot to set the brake. Alright. Let's give this a try now. So save it, launch it. Apparently you still can take the sky from me. We haven't... It hasn't earned a real name yet. It hasn't earned a real name yet. We're going to get it to space, one or the other. Stickers will make it go faster. I was going to add a sweet spoiler on the back for that hot, hot shopping cart look. Let's see here. There we go. Let's throttle it up. SAS. Turn on all 3 of those engines, and let's see how that goes with those 3 engines in the back. Nice. Thanks, Adel, by the way. Idle Adel here in my channel. Let's see how this looks. We are going straight down the runway. That's a good sign. We're getting more speed. That's also a good sign. Get me over 100 so I can take off. Huh. The control authority is still not fixed. I am not able to pull up right now because we never fixed those wing surfaces. So we have the thrust and we have the lift, but we don't have the proper control authority for those those are not even, I don't even know what those are going to be called. Ailerons, elevons. I don't even know with this craft. It's such a non-standard design. We're definitely doing better than we were last time. We're definitely idle Adel, yeah. Let's see here. Das panel lock. Okay. Thank you, panel lock. Thanks for reminding me. That's what I call you, Adel. I'm not quite sure what that was there, but thank you people in chat for looking out on what's going on in chat. I do feel like I may need a couple more moderators, especially with this many more people in here. So we have a different, a bit of a different mix of people than the regulars, so I totally appreciate people looking out here. This is much better. We're going over 100 already. These 3 jet engines basically give us 50% more thrust. How are we doing on fuel? Wow, we're eating fuel out of that tank quick, aren't we? We've got, what's the difference? We may be moored. We may definitely need more. Nice. Just so you know, you only auto-connect to chats for select channels. Thank you, Adel. I was just giving you a little bit of trouble. No worries. This is actually a problem. Look at this. We don't have fuel lines going to the other engines. We've got more intake air, but I think that we are going to run out of fuel in there. I definitely think we're going to run out of fuel in there. We may need to fill up that front tank again. It's going to stall just as you're looking at chat, right? The fuel is going to totally die. Let's just get up there where the air is thinner and see what we can do. We may run out of fuel. Yeah, T-Game, dude, you're not kidding. You definitely. The child who should be asleep wants to know where we're trying to go. We're trying to rendezvous with the space station that we have up in Orton. We have the Orbital Hilton up in orbit, and we are trying to get there. That is what we are trying to do. I'm going to set this down to about 310, maybe. The problem is that this is going to make our thrust asymmetric. 316. I'll set this one down to 316. And then I got to do the bottom two as well. 315 will do. Nope, that's an intake I got. What am I at, 11,000? Yeah, I still got time. Set this one down to 316. Isn't it a school night? Honestly, totally a school night. Set this one down to 316. There we go. And lastly, we'll set this one down to 316. There's 13. All right, I should get my fuel transfer going before I get up to 315 where I need to level off. I'll level off after I get the fuel transfer done. So there we go. We took some fuel out of those. We put it up into those tanks mostly because, let's do our level off now. Mostly because we were just having way too much, yeah, we're good. We didn't have enough liquid fuel for these engines to get us up high. That's looking good right there. I like the way that that's starting to sound. Those engines are just spinning way up. They're making lots of thrust. And we're getting lots of speed. So you realized you were doing this. Dude, Sandbros, if y'all need to go to bed because it is a school night, thank you so much for the text message. Guys, I know Sandbros in real life. Yes. Flying a space plane. And I'm going to start going down in altitude if I do that, which is not what I want to do. This is actually good, but I do want to get some vertical speed. I want the air to get thinner and thinner. And when I start to get asymmetric thrust, I'm going to hit 2 and see if I can't change to the middle engine only. Now, here's another problem I've got right now, right? The air intakes are actually directional, and whenever I'm not pointing directly into the airflow, I can look at the nav ball, and this right here is the airflow, the way the air is going over the craft. I need to get up to thinner air. That is the airflow, and these intakes are not being as efficient because I'm not pointing directly prograde. The air is actually coming into them at an angle, and they're most efficient when the air comes at them completely flat. So if this craft had some more lift, we would be able to fly completely flat like that. And I think it doesn't have enough lift, not because it doesn't have enough wings, but because we've wasted too much fuel in these tanks. But look at how we're doing now. This is actually turning out pretty well. I'm going to wait for the spool down, and when it starts to spool down, I hear him. Now I've just got one engine, but look at that. One engine isn't enough thrust for that altitude. So let's go back to 3. That asymmetric thrust. Oh, and it flamed out. I'm still okay. Let's see what we got. There we go. Now that we've got up this high, all right, maybe we rescued it a little bit. We're just not gaining enough speed. We're not gaining enough speed up here. And I honestly think it's because we're carrying too much fuel for our payload. Let's just see how long we can loiter right here around 28. Because the engine sounds good. Yeah, the engine sounds good right now. So let's just see what we can do. We've got lots of intakes. We've got 6 of the right intakes here. Now it's starting to throttle down. Let's just see if we can't fly right here in this upper atmosphere. It would be so much better if I didn't weigh nearly as much so that I could point straight. From the ER parking lot. Nice. Well, okay, second KSP left. Dude! Thank you. Yeah, I don't have. We could probably get to orbit like that, but that's not really what we're looking for. Let me just see if I can't, let's see here. Tuning out really well. He said speech at Kerbal's funeral. Nice. I do appreciate that. I don't have much of an accent. The only thing I could really do would be a yeehaw sort of hick accent, and that's not really something that turns people on, I don't think. Now we're getting back into the thick atmosphere. So you see what's happening. We have too much mass on this craft. We just don't need... Let's see if these guys are going to flame out on me. Spin up, other engines. Yeah, we've got too much mass on this craft. I honestly think we can get this to orbit if we take about half of the... Hear 'em? Yeah, you can hear them. If we take about half of the fuel out of these tanks, I bet you we could get to orbit. We just need to make this more efficient. Tell that to Earthworm something. It's kind of his thing, really. It's totally kind of his thing. That would be just wasting fuel, basically. If we ran the rocket engines and that, we should be able to get the plane to orbit just by using these jet engines correctly. So let's go try it again. Let's go back to the spaceplane hangar and fix this some more. Let us see. Twitch mobile it is. Nice. Yep, I do need more lift, or I need less mass, right? Let's do this. Let's put these tanks down to half full. Excellent. We still have the dry mass of the tank. What is the dry mass of the tank? 180 is going to be half full, right? 180, 220? Yeah, 180, 220. And then we've got all those on there. I bet we don't need 4 of those things. We probably don't need those 4 things on there. We could probably just get by with 1 of those things, honestly. So let's see what else we've got here. Maybe we should take... That would save us 0.3 tons. We really just need to start... What is the mass of that tank? We really need to start trimming this guy down, right? 4.5 mass on the tank. The mass from fuel is 4.0, so the empty mass of the tank is 0.5, so we've got 2 tons worth of that fuel tank there. Swapping which engines run. That is keeping 2 running. Rhetoric, we tried that before, and when we did that, we ran out of thrust up high. Remember, before we only had the 2 engines on it. So that is what we were going to do. Anything else? Anything else we could do? I could totally take some of that SAS off. In fact, why don't I do this? Why don't I take that? No, I could have left those on there, honestly. It's also very interesting that we were able to get up the first time before we added these intakes. Let's just put one of these guys with 0.2 mass. Doesn't that look nice and aerodynamic? We can tuck... Apparently we can't tuck those into there. That looks like the most aerodynamic shape I've ever seen with that huge... I wish that was just all one big air intake. And let's see here. Can I take off all of these? That's going to save us basically 0.2 tons. We're just going to put this plane on a diet now, right? We don't need that much SAS. Come on now. Don't make me do it that way. It looks like the wings or something is clipping. I'm certainly not going to go through and do all that, so I'm just going to... Is it this intake here that's doing it? It may be that intake. Nope. It's just one of those weird bugs where it will clip in one but not clip in two symmetry. So let's just put it on in one symmetry. Then we can go and put the other one on with the other one symmetry. Like that. Let's do the same thing down here. There we go. And here we go. The other thing you could do is, that's just a vagary of the way that KSP does it. We could have actually taken the entire engine nacelle off and tried it that way. Then I was going to fill this up with fuel too, wasn't I? Yes, that's fine. Let's check our center of mass, center of thrust. Nope, center of mass, center of lift. That's okay. Let's try that. We called ASAS, right? ASAS. ASAS. Let's see here. We did get that done. Increase the thrust, reducing the lift needed. If you're going to a manual switch, it is going to increase the thrust, reducing the lift needed. Yeah, you're right, but I don't want to run those actual rocket engines. I want to run the jet engines all the way out. So what else? Is there anything else we could do? The center of lift closer to the center of mass would also work. Let's try this. These things. What about that? That actually doesn't look terrible. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Yep, that's exactly right. Dude, Zach is exactly right there. You can only burn the fuel. Yeah, because Thader, every bit of fuel... Watch Kerbal Engineer, Thader, watch. When we watch this craft, in terms of mass, it's 23.7 right now. When I put a lot more fuel in there, it's 27.7. Half a tank of fuel is 4 tons. By removing half a tank from both of those, that means, not half a tank, half of those 2 tanks is 4 tons. When I put half of it, that's 8 tons off the mass of the craft. That's a lot of fuel to take off. So this craft would have a lot of delta V up high right now, but that's why we don't want to carry it with us. Fix control surfaces on the wings. What do you mean? Move the canards forward and the wings back. Okay, I think that that's correct as well. Let's put the canards up there, and let's see if we can't move the wings back a little bit. Again, we talked about that earlier with a little bit more lever arm, right? Between the control surface and... Can I even get up in there? There we go. All right. So what is this going to do? This is going to give us more of a lever arm. Did I line it up correctly? Yep, that's good. And let's move this back. Like that. Between the control surfaces and the center of mass, now we've got a nice lever arm between where these will be applying force and where that's happening. And then we'll go ahead and put these canards up as far as we can go, just about. Right like that, and see how that works. Those canards are so ugly. What are we doing over here? Is it safe? Is it safe? Maybe a little too much, too far back? Let's do it like that. I really don't want it exactly on it like that. Let's try that. And that actually looks kind of cool. Temp Venom. Thank you for the follow, Temp Venom. Just add more. Yeah, thanks, Lovelicious. Let's give that a try. Let's move this a little bit back here. Because, again, it's all about that control arm, right? That right there. Is it clipping through into that other part? Yep, it's clipping into that part. Interesting. What do you think you're clipping against? There you go. Let's give that a try. There was Tannery 3. Thank you for enrolling in Kerbal Space Academy. Let's give this a try. Let's give it a try and see how it flies. That rhymes. I didn't really mean to do that. That's kind of cheesy, honestly. Let us see. Oh, nice. Thank you, Dylan Britt. Yeah, I think that survey is still open. That's the official squad survey for naming .25. Oh, look at that. Let's go ahead and throttle him up. Let's see how fast he can fly. He's got more lift because we've got those canards on there and we reduced his weight a lot. Let's see. Did he already take off? No. For a second I thought he already took off. That looks pretty good so far. Oh, look at that. That actually looks great. See the difference? The difference here is that now that I have more lift, I've put those on there and I move those things back a little bit. We're flying closer to our center. We're flying closer to the center of our trajectory, right? That means that my intakes will not only get more air when I'm up high, but it will also make me more controllable down here. Look at... Ah! Ha, ha, ha! Those canards, that was a little bit too far. Let's spin stabilize. Do you have a plane that can do that? So apparently that is a thing of canards. We made it so that we could flip ourselves around. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and fix that and get on up to our correct orbital angle. So that old plane wouldn't do that. All of that control authority up there apparently allowed us to completely flip ourselves around like that. Let's see how we're doing on fuel, by the way. Wow, we burned that fuel fast. Jeez, panel locking for sure, honestly. Oh, nice, and the demo. There you go. What's up, Bobcan? How's it going? We will get this done into space. Far is going to kick my something or other. I don't doubt that. Now it flies and can even do a Super Cobra. I apparently have a stunt plane that's supposed to be carrying Kerbals with it. Let's just keep on going up. And I'm going to do the same ascent profile. My plane can do that once. The flip would be a problem in far. I don't doubt that at all. Again, we're trying to cobble this thing together using the stock parts. It almost would look cooler if that was up and then those intakes were down on the bottom, but whatever. They give us a place to mount that thingy. Let us see how this works. And again, I'm just flying up at 90 degrees. I feel like I've got good velocity. Oh, you were typing in the other chat, Tim Venom. You were typing over there? Nice. Yeah, apart from, I don't know, this part here, maybe that's not the most aerodynamic thing that could be happening on this plane. That is like our super intake. I should really clip one of these down onto that node or something and see how that super intake works. Using an entire using an entire SAS, large SAS module as our intake. So let's do this again. Let's see if we can't jump up out of the atmosphere. How am I doing on fuel, by the way? I feel a lot better on fuel now. Well, what were you typing in chat over there? I'm going to go ahead and start to level off. How am I doing on intake air? I'm getting a little bit too high. I need to level off a little bit more. But hopefully this... I can hear him right on the edge. Let's see how much altitude. I am going to lose a little bit of altitude here, but I can hear the engine starting to spool. You can hear the engine spooling, right? That is looking really good so far, y'all. And I just need to go a little bit more up. I want to grab some more velocity because I did a little bit too steep and I need to level off a little bit sooner than that. I don't want to be dropping this fast. But I am definitely gaining velocity, and now I need to come back up out of the air. Again, we're just trying to ride the line between enough air to run our engines and not so much air that it slows us down. So see, look at that. Now this is my terminal velocity here. Look at this, 168% atmospheric efficiency. I'm going way too fast for the speed that I'm going. Now I'm good though. Let's just climb it out really slow like this. Just climb me out of that soup. That is probably a pretty good angle of attack. We've got good intake air. We're good to go there. That is probably better velocity than we've gotten yet. Going up. I can hear him start to whistle, but we're still okay. Yes, that actually looks a lot better. That actually looks a lot better. Oh, we're doing a... Yeah, we're actually doing a... DOS needs a KSP. We can do it in multiple languages. That is looking good right there, y'all. We are still gaining speed. I throttled it down until my engine sounded good. Basically, I'm going to go for 66% throttle here. We're still gaining speed, just a little bit. Then I'm going to go into single engine mode. I'm liking this, though. I'm liking 1,500 meters per second. Basically, once I have to throttle down to 33%, then I can go single engine. Ah, that's slowing us down. Let's try single engine mode now. Although I don't know if single engine is going to be enough for us. Let's go single engine full thrust. Nope, single engine full thrust. We're not high enough out of the atmosphere. But let's see if we can't come up out of the atmosphere. Can I increase my rate of climb? Nope, my vertical speed is going down. We don't have quite enough up here. And we are slowing down. How are we doing? Is my vertical speed still up? Is my vertical speed increasing? Yes, okay, good. Let's ride this engine for all she's worth up here in the higher atmosphere, but we are losing velocity. That's bad. We are going up. That is good. Yep, you're right. We are wasting fuel, Luis. And we're losing velocity, which is not what we want. We're trying to climb up out of the soup using just a single engine, but it's not... We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. Again, we already have too much oxidizer, so we could have taken some oxidizer out. Let me go ahead and put 150 in this one. And 150 in this one. Oh, he's running out. You hear him start to whistle. But see, we're just not high enough up out of the soup, and we're starting to lose velocity here. That's interesting that we're actually losing velocity. So basically, this is not a good ascent profile for this space plane. Losing that speed, we should have kicked over to the full engine mode when we started to lose that speed. In fact, oh, there we go. Now we're starting to gain speed again. But look at this angle that I have to have. I need that vertical. Like Louis said, I have to have that vertical speed. 50 meters per second. We're kind of holding steady in there. What do I have? 700 intake air. That's just not enough thrust. The single engine is just not enough thrust for this guy to go. Getting caught up on the chat as well. I still have the vertical speed. I'm up at 30,000 feet, which is okay. But I'm basically just barely running this jet engine. I really need 2 engines up here, I think. Run 5 engines. Yeah, as we get higher and higher up. Let's see how we are on fuel. We're okay. I just have a feeling that if I nose down at all, I'm going to lose that vertical speed. Yeah, look at that. We're basically just flying like a vertical rocket here. This is not doing us good. I really feel like if we had less weight in the craft, we would have popped out of the atmosphere. We would have popped out of the atmosphere if we had less weight in the craft. Let's see what happens, though. My vertical speed is going down. That is a problem. And we're not gaining horizontal speed nearly fast enough. And the fact that we're having to fly at this degree of an angle, this is not good for this space plane. See, if I don't put the thrust that way, it's going to make us start to lose that vertical speed right there. See, now we're going down, and that's a problem. I was having to fly at that huge angle. Yeah, we definitely don't have enough to run all those engines. Look at that! I'm just gonna see. Oh yeah, just a constant flame out, yo. Nope. So let's just see. We are definitely very high, but the fact that we're going down right here, negative 118 meters per second, that's not a good thing. That is definitely not a good thing. I don't think so. I don't think that the design is a As a launch, that's what we need to do. Soon you will be exceeding the max angle of attack. Yep, that's exactly right. So, I don't think the design is a loss. I think we're still carrying too much fuel. And we're carrying too much extra wasted... There's just too much extra stuff in here. Fireworks. Yeah, we were totally putting off fireworks. They are, as long as we get enough speed that we don't start slowing down. We've got to be able to pop out of the atmosphere and get the vertical speed there at the end. 2 turbos. I actually look to be running 2 turbos. This is not going to get us anywhere because we're already back down. Spin stabilize it at least. Alright, that was a lot better. But I still feel like we have too much fuel. Those tanks are way too big. I have a feeling those tanks are way too big. So let's go back to the spaceplane hangar. Let's make some more changes. If the weight of those tanks is 0.5 tons each, right? So we've got 2 extra tons on there that we don't really need. We should totally go with the smaller fuel tanks, I think. Which is a little bit annoying because we've got all that stuff in there. Is there anything else that we could do? Do you think we could have got her up there with just a better flight profile? What's up, Nikium? With a better flight profile. Spending more time down low on all 3 engines. That one engine is just not serving us, right? We need the 3 engines to take off, but the one engine up high is not really doing us very good. It's almost like we need another action group to go from 2 to 1. Just like remove the engines one at a time. Yes, we do have RCS for docking. We've got that. That's why I'm almost so loath. Let's go look at some different tank options. We've got half a tank. The mass of these tanks are... we wanted a 0.25, so half the tank mass of the big one. So 0.25, we would lose a ton if we switched it out. But we'd have to figure out some way to connect the wings. We could lose a ton. We could lose 600 kilograms if we did that. Right click and just tweak the fuel. So you want me to add like a third, maybe? But if we're doing a third, what is that, 72? Did I do 72, 108? Let's try that. But then we're still carrying 2 extra tons of weight from the mass of these tanks, right? We're definitely still carrying too much. Plus, we've also got the weight of these wings. How is the weight of the wings? And what does a hitchhiker weigh? Hype. Let's see here. I appreciate that. Look behind you. I appreciate that. I don't want a design that works, though. I want to talk through all the different troubleshooting that we need to do because people have to do this by themselves. And what we're doing right now, we have 100 and something people in this channel. We're going through all the different problems you have with a space plane, and we're talking through how we try to do it. So we've changed the engine design. We've put less fuel in it. We put more intakes on it. We had to fix the things with the landing gear, the angle of attack. I'm not trying to show off. I mean, I could have a design already ready to go that we could launch. I could have done this when we weren't there. I've never built this one before, and I'm going through all the different troubleshooting that anybody who built one of these would have to do, and a lot of people are helping us out, honestly. So I don't want a design that works. We will get to a design that works. I do appreciate the offer, though. Let's do that. I almost think that maybe, you know something else we could do? What if you extend the seams to extreme... What if you extend the wings to increase lift alone? What do you mean? If you extend the wings... Oh! I think that what we're doing... I think the plane's too big, honestly. That's another good point. These wings that are at these angles like this, we're carrying the mass for them, but we're not getting the weight for them. We could totally do this. We could get more lift out of them, right? I've got a couple more tweaks we could do here. Let's do revert to spaceplane hangar. Because the more you angle those wings, the less lift you have to actually get from the wings. They're actually lifting me in opposite directions. And so if I make them more close to vertical, we should be good to go. Wait, what? Oh, look, it's not. Wait, what? What did I just miss? You're getting up there without a problem if you use two types firing at the same time. You would have thrust to weight. Let's use... DOS use FTL 800s. Ah, you mean both the rockets and the... I'll put that stage in. I'll try that for you. Those are the FTL 800s. That's what I've got on there. What am I missing? put the rockets on bicouplers? Oh, just use 2 of them. That would take a ton off. That would definitely take a ton off. That would actually take a ton off. Then we'd have to do more wings. Let's try it this way first. Right? Let's do this. And I am just going to Cheaty McCheaterson put these guys a lot closer to level in 1x symmetry, apparently. Let's check our center of mass versus our center of thrust. We need to move it back a little bit, it looks like. Actually, we could do this with this, couldn't we? There we go. And put those on the little bicouplers. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think one of the problems is a lot of problems people try to fix their space planes by putting more and more stuff. It's like, man, I don't have enough fuel. If only I had more fuel. Oh, man, I don't have enough wings. If only I had more wings. I mean, we did the opposite. We put more on there. What's up, Katamari? How's it going? Thank you for the follow. We put more wings on there. Center of lift. I always say center of thrust. Thank you. I mean, it's thrust in the upward direction, Rhetoric. Thank you. Here's another thing we can use. We don't need these big guys way up there, right? These big control surfaces, they look cool, but all you really need are these small control surfaces, and these actually have a lot less drag. Those are 0.4, these are 0.1. So let us put these on. There's only 6 directions, DOS, and we'll put them way out here on the end of the wing, kind of like this. I'm almost wondering if we need we need 4 of them like that. But just for the sake of symmetry, I will do that. I also don't think that we need these guys at all, right? I just don't think that we need these. At least like that. Let's just put 1 on there and see how that works. And if this doesn't work, I will definitely go to the single FTL 800 design after this. So see, there we've got that. We've got those. Maybe we could do this as well. I mean, that's RCS. I wonder if that's making that intake not very effective because it's got that RCS thing in front of it. Does it work that way? That's one thing I don't know off the top of my head. I sound as tired as I look. Nice. Clipping! Does it need more fuel? It needs more lift. That's exactly right. Titan Mark IV. I don't know what that is. It's not propelling you upward on its own. Ah, you, sir, are so pedantic. With the wings, you're worrying about the yaw stability. Let's see what we've got. Is there anything else? I did those. I did them with the small ones. I've got that. We'll give it a try. We will give it a try. We can always put... I wish I could put some sort of wing in the middle there. Maybe we could put a wing going up in the middle. You're right. No, you're definitely right. Luis is absolutely right. Use separatrons. Nope. Let's save this. Let's try to fly it this way. Anything else? Oh, I was going to do one more thing. Let's try an action group. Let's see here. 3 is that. Activate, activate, shut down, shut down. Let's have 3 be activate the Rockomaxes and activate this one engine, right? And then deactivate these. Shut down engine. And then 4 will be Rockomaxes. Wine! Thank you for the follow, Wine. I do appreciate it. This is Kerbal Space Academy. We're debugging a space plane. And we're having lots of problems with getting the space plane to orbit. Now we're really getting into fine-tweaking the orbital profile. The launch profile, really. So the 4th one is going to be shut down all turbojets, activate all rockets, and go to space that way. There we go. Oh, wait, did we get encoders? Encoder hype at 11 p.m.? That's actually not bad. Basically, encoding is how busy Twitch is and how popular the channel is. So we have some serious KSP power going tonight. That is freaking awesome. Let us see what we've got here. Excellent. That's interesting. Oh, everybody must be rejoining. It says zero viewers on Das Valdez. How about that? Somebody can refresh that in a minute. Let's take this space plane off. Let's see if it goes to space. We may have just spammed those intakes. It's really, really interesting that the plane stopped going to orbit once we had those intakes on. Wookie here. So just to say what it means, it basically means now you can hear me. Now you can hear me if the video's reloaded. Encoders means that you can choose the quality. It means that Twitch is giving me some extra processing power on their end, and it'll actually allow us to change the quality of the stream from very high source all the way down to low. That is something you get when you're popular enough on Twitch, and Twitch is not having a lot of bandwidth that night, I guess. They will give you encoders, which gives people on is why it froze your phone. Nice, thank you. Everybody's back. All right. Shut off the intakes? Oh, but I don't know. I really don't know if that's it. We're a lot lighter now. We can definitely take off very well. Let's get rid of those gears. Let's go up to space. I almost wish Kerbal Engineer had a couple different modes. Look how stable that is. That is actually awesome. We don't have a lot of weight and we have a lot of thrust for it. You can zoom in on mobile? Wait, what? Somebody got a coffee ad? It's because you're watching Valdez, straight from the mountains of Colombia. With my trusty burro. I'm going to get it up to 15, and we'll try a couple different launch profiles once we get to 15. Because the long and short of it, if you're not going through these, you have to close the intakes. You know, one of the problems, Luis, is that there is only a toggle intake. You only toggle the intake and run 2 turbojets the whole time. You're right, Quantitas. You were actually right. You were actually right. This craft feels a lot better. It definitely feels a lot better. I mean, we could totally take these down and put them down into there. Then we could do something with the wings to bring them in. We could get one of those tanks. Dude, Bama Medic, thank you for what you do, good sir. I do appreciate you being out there keeping people from bleeding and that sort of stuff. So thank you for what you do, Bama. We will see you next time. I hope you had a lot of fun out here. You know, I've never noticed any drag difference either, but I don't build, like, hairline planes. This plane looks hideous, and I totally want to rebuild the design once we get it up to orbit. Right. So I'm just climbing up to 15. Excellent. And then I'm going to save it. The less atmosphere, the less drag. Yeah, exactly. Once you get up there, by the time it's time to... ooh, that actually sounds great. By the time you get up there, the air is so thin, I just don't know how much drag difference it actually makes. I'm not sure, though. I've never actually done it. But it's just toggle intakes is the problem. It's, the fact that toggle intakes, there's not like an open intakes and closed intakes. I never trust that the intakes are actually toggled, is basically what I'm saying. I really wish that it was open intakes and closed intakes. Let's see what we got here. Look at that thrust, though. We are freaking accelerating like mad people. 21 is about where we start to run out of intake air. And let's see how far we can fly right here, right? What's my vertical speed? Vertical speed's good. Surface speed's good. I hear him whistling. Vertical speed, 33 meters per second. We gotta keep some of it, though. We definitely gotta keep some of it. Just stay with me. Nope, I want vertical speed. I want vertical speed. I like that we're still accelerating. I like that we're still going up. 1500, that's very good. The real question is going to be when I turn on those little engines, how much delta V are they going to get me? There we go. Spool it back up, engines. I'm just throttling down. 25. Keep that vertical speed, though, DOS. There, we're starting to shut down. I'm still climbing. And I'm still barely gaining speed, but I'm getting that altitude. I'm trying to get up out of that altitude. I think it's time to switch to one engine. I've already F5'd it way back there. Let's switch to one engine with full throttle. Nope, let's try this. How are we doing? 3. We've got about 100 seconds of fuel. I don't even know if that engine's still giving me thrust. I hope that it is. It's still giving me 100 kilonewtons of thrust. I like it. I've got the climb. I've got that. I'm full throttle, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's my climb rate? 141, 142. We're increasing our climb rate. Is the hype real? That one engine is still thrusting. We're just going to wait till it completely flames out. Look at that orbital velocity, y'all. That right there is a winner. As long as we can get angled up even more. Look at that apoapse. I love it. I love it. And we have so much delta V left. Mm-hmm. 77, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just heard that engine flame out. Full Atmo mode. Full Atmo mode. Heck yeah! So right there, it would have been at the moon by now. Yes! There we got it into orbit. And what did we do? Did we slap even more and more and more fuel in there? No, we didn't use more and more fuel. I'm actually surprised I didn't run out of fuel there. We could have almost done away with that middle tank, that front tank. Jeez, OP. Look at that. We're almost exactly balanced with fuel to oxidizer as well. That is awesome. That is totally awesome. That is to space right there. 760 meters per second of delta V left. We can make it better, right? We can totally make it. Oh, we're fine. I mean, I'm just going to wait till we get back up out of there. You are right, though, Luis. We could definitely give it a little bit more of a delta V to get that apoapse up. And in fact, I want to get out of the atmosphere faster, so I'm actually just going to burn it straight this way. There we go. That would not be a good idea near or far, I don't think. But in stock physics, I don't think it matters. So look at that. That we got to space. We had to troubleshoot it for a while. We can make it better. We can actually take... What did we fill these tanks up with? They had almost no fuel in them. I think it was like 1. You know? Yeah, I definitely think. Dude, right checks, you are... I would pay $60 for this game. This game is so freaking awesome. I just... it really pains me to see people paying $60, $70, $80, $90, $120 for, like, Call of Duty sort of stuff, you know? When games like this are so freaking cool. It is a freaking steal at $27. I would buy it for $60. I am not even kidding you. Let's put her in a 75 by 75 orbit. 64. There we go, 77. And I think the real lesson there... 75 by 75. The real lesson there, right? 199, we're going to have 500 meters per second. That Z-fighting, though, ouch. The real lesson, a lot of people said, dude, why don't you put more? Put more fuel in it. Put more whatever in it. And the solution was not to put more and more fuel into it. You're right, Quantitas. You are right. I would like some more stuff, and they're working on it. They're definitely working on it. Price per hour for this game, we're well into the fractional pennies per hour. Dude, Adel, you and me both. You and me both. Let us have a look here. We will go ahead. It's going to be a 28-second burn. Let's go in with 14 seconds on the clock. There's 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Oops, missed it. Nice, DOS. Using those little OP engines. We didn't even really need these parts. They're just for show. Whatever. Mm-hmm. 10% an hour. Nice. Let's see what we're doing here. There's an orbit. Aha. I'm well past my apoapse now. It is just about circular enough. What's coming up next? Periapse in 12 minutes. I want that to be an apoapse, please. So I'm going to burn up. Don't do this at home. Let's trade apoapse for periapse right here. There we go. Now I'm at my apoapse. Now I can put a little bit more into the periapse. Yes, that's what we like. 75 by 75. Oh, so close. Because we weren't quite at apoapse. Anyways, this is close enough. Yeah, right. 0.016 bucks per hour. Dude, you're not even, you guys aren't even kidding. You are absolutely not even kidding. Adding more rockets, slapping more fuel, that's not what we needed to do. We needed to remove fuel. We just needed it. It was just dead weight. Just dead weight we were carrying to space. We're still carrying dead weight. These 2 tanks, mostly empty, dead weight, that's 2 tons of dead weight. We need to go ahead and put this guy with just one of them on. Or smaller tanks, or something. If we put one on, we'll totally screw up the view out the window. But, you know, what can you do? So now we're good. We've got that. That was just a follow that came in. TechCast Porkchop 458. Thank you, sir. This is Kerbal Space Academy. We've been debugging this space plane for quite a while. We have got it into space now. I did promise a rendezvous with the orbital Hilton, so let's go get that done. Wow! We're right there, and the Hilton's right there? Set as target. Let's put a note on here. Let's see if we can't burn it up. And all I'm going to do is I set a note on my path. There we go. Where is that? Intersect 1. Target position, intersect 1. Okay. Let's do a homing transfer, y'all. We're going to do a bit of a transfer here. I am in a very cluttered 75,000 meter orbit. 75 kilometer orbit, right? I'm down here. The orbital Hilton is up here. Right here, see? We've got a big space station up here, and we are going to deliver this plane up to it just to make sure we can get there. What I need to do is get from my current orbit, the lame duck, aka you can take this guy from me, and get it up to the orbital Hilton, right? Right now the orbital Hilton is in front of us. See how we're orbiting counterclockwise from the top of the planet that I'm looking at here. And as we look at the orbital Hilton, it is just crossing over this shore, and we're back behind it. It's going to take us a little bit longer to get to that shore. However, the Hilton's up there at a 1,200 meter per second, or sorry, up there at a 125 kilometer orbit. We're down here at a 75 kilometer orbit. What we can actually do is burn to increase our periapse, or sorry, to increase our apoapse up to the same as the Hilton. That's 122. We need a little bit more. Let's go to 125. There's an apoapse of 125. So that's good, right? Don't mess up my node. I'm going to steal my node and run away from you, Kraft. The good news is the Hilton is in a nice round orbit, right? The big hotel up there is in a nice round orbit. We are also in a nice circular orbit. So what I can do is put a node on here, set the node to give me enough delta V, what is it? 40 meters per second of delta V, to kick my apoapse up to 125, the same as the hotel. And what we need to do now is figure out when we should actually execute that burn to meet the hotel. Here's what we can do. The hotel is in front of us. That means its orbital velocity is slower. Come on now. There we go. The orbital velocity on the hotel is 2206.8, right? The orbital velocity on us is 2288.1. Not that that's important. So we've got about 82 more meters per second than the hotel does. What I want to do is wait long enough that we actually catch up to the hotel. Because we're in a lower orbit, not only do we have a shorter distance to go over, we're also going faster. And that means that we're going to eventually catch up to the hotel. See how we're going here? We are going to actually catch up to it. Let's illustrate what that looks like. So I've put a node here in the future. This is 37 minutes in the future. 4 minutes in the future, actually. And I've burned it prograde so that my apoapse after that node is 125, the same as the hotel, right? And now it's time to go to the mass driver. What we're going to do is click on the node to bring it up, right-click on it so that we get these new little options. This came out with the asteroid update, I guess. And I can actually click on this button on the right-hand side. what the button on the right hand side does is tell me to wait in orbit. So check it out. Up here right now, when we get up to 125, we're going to be right here, and the hotel is going to be up in front of us by a little bit of a ways, right? Let me fix that just a little bit so it's stable. There you go. Them rounding errors. It's still doing rounding errors. Thanks. When we get up there, that's 126. Let's do a little bit less. That's 121. Interesting. Let's just go put it back at 125. 129. Just click on it so it sticks. And 125 is what I want. There we go. So what I can do, right click on this node. It brings this up. Right now, when we get here, the hotel will be way up there. That's not a rendezvous. That's not going to get us to the hotel. When I right click on the node, I get this button, and this button is wait in orbit. Because we're in a lower orbit and we're going to be catching up to the hotel, every orbit I wait gets me closer to the hotel. See, when I clicked it once, it actually said, all right, don't burn the next time you come around here. Wait in orbit and then burn. And now, when I get right here, the hotel's going to be right there. That's actually pretty darn cool. Let's do it again. That's interesting how it skipped past. Look at that. Them rounding errors. I have a feeling what may be happening is we've got a ascending node. 0.3, that's not too bad, actually. But now that I've got this encounter, I basically said to wait 2 orbits. Go around the planet twice before you burn this node. Now what I can do is right-click on the node again and actually drag it forward and back to see if I can't get a better encounter. It doesn't look like it's that direction. It looks like it's going to be in this direction. So let's right-click it again. Let's tell it to wait another orbit. That is bouncing all over the map, isn't it? There we go. There, it's getting closer and closer and closer. See as I drag it around? See how this... Seriously? Somehow the node, the maneuver node just got deleted? Whatever, man. Let's go fix that. For some reason, I didn't tell it to delete that node, I don't think, but it magically got deleted. Let's put that there. Let's right-click on the node. Let's tell it to wait a node. Look how close we are, right? That separation is 34 kilometers. I don't need to change the burn of the node. I didn't need to change the meters per second. All I need to do is keep dragging this around until they line up like that. That right there, 0.8 kilometers on the separation. That is a good transfer from this lower, a good Hohmann transfer, from this lower 75 kilometer orbit up to the higher 125 kilometer orbit. Not only that, we're going to time that burn so that the Hilton, the hotel, happens to be there whenever we reach that. So now all we need to do is wait 44 minutes, 39 seconds. That's probably like 2 orbits because I should have a 30-something minute, 20-minute orbital period. 2-something orbits. Dude, I'm in infinite fuel. Nice. So what we're going to do is wait till this happens. If you drag it fully off... I was trying very... And I didn't think I tried to drag it off the line, but that's good to know, so Racy. If you drag it off the line somehow, it actually deletes it. We are going to wait 44 minutes and get this 5-second burn done. Let's see, I've got that docking port down there. We're all good on RCS. We're good on fuel. We have 500 meters per second of delta V. We're good to go. We'll be getting to the hotel with plenty of time. So, I'm going to add a Kerbal alarm clock. Thoop. Add. I'm just going to put it 1 minute out. That's fine. And that is just streamer's cheat so that I can warp very quickly through these next couple minutes. Read some chat while I do it. Yeah, if you drag it off the end of the orbit, it happens as well, right? His face when he either needs to AFK or pre-fuel it beforehand. Wait, what? I don't know what I missed there. 4 FL T200s would be equal to 1 long tank. Alright, Thader, thank you. That is what we're carrying is 1 long tank, right? Excellente. Now it's time to go after the mass driver. We can totally do that. 008, jeez. Alrighty. What is that? 12 more minutes? We're almost there. Then I'll need to find the node. 60 seconds should be plenty of time for us to find that node and burn it. Gosh, that one tank will definitely ruin my... I wonder if I could... there we go, 1 minute out. There's a lot of things we could do, I think. Delete on close. We need to go find the blue thing. And we'll actually get a rendezvous and dock down to here too. Let's go find the blue thing. Excellente. And I'm going to need to do a 5-second burn in 43 seconds. Rounded up, it's a 6-second burn. That gives your engine some time to spool up. Half that, 3 seconds. When it gets to T minus 3 seconds, that's when I want to do the burn. Dylan, thank you for the follow. I do appreciate it. Like I said, I do Kerbal Space Academy every night. SSTO's probably one of my more weaker topics that I cover. Transfers, interplanetary, completely skipping nodes. I'm really good at completely skipping nodes. We'll be okay. I'm talking instead of actually burning the node. Let's go see how that affected our orbit. We do interplanetary transfers. We do lifter design. 2.3 kilometers. That'll be fine. We do... Excellent. 1.987. Check this out. I'm using RCS to fine-tune this encounter. 4... That looks like about what we're going to get. Yeah, 4 is about what we're going to get. So let's do RCS off. There was another one that came in. Fugu 2000. Fugu 2000. Thank you for the follow, good sir. Like I was saying, Kerbal Space Academy, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just about every night. We do different topics covering concepts in KSP, interplanetary transfers, lifter design, landing on the moon, farming science on Minmus. We do some mod highlights. We do engineer in depth. I've done some things with the real shoots, the deb recovery in a career mode, all that sort of stuff. Thader, I almost always put the port directly on the center of mass just because it makes you have less waggle. Whenever you dock a center of mass against the center of mass, you don't have those lever arms that make your stations kind of go wonky. I usually do try to put docking ports on the center of mass. I try to plan for that. That is an intentional sort of thing. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and zoom on out here till we're right about here, 12 minutes out. I'll just go ahead and fast forward. Doesn't have to be exact, so I'm just fast forwarding to get there. And we're going to do some orbit bending and make that rendezvous excellent so that we come in perfectly with the station. 2, 1. That's good enough right there. So the time to this encounter is 1 minute 42 seconds. Let's go get this done. Step 1, find the dorsal side of your craft. If you've got a craft that has a cockpit on it, dorsal is up. I also like to place little batteries so that when it's dark, like this, I can see the dorsal side, right? If your KSP looks like this, it's because you don't have the ambient light adjustment mod. But putting those lights on there makes it obvious which is the dorsal side whenever I'm coming into this craft. Let me go ahead and make it so you can see my spaceplane again. There we go. And there's the Hilton. So step 1, find the dorsal side of your craft and orient like this. Towards your target, dorsal up. Dorsal like Shark Week, if you've seen that. That is the top fin of the shark. Now what I can do, I'm actually going to flip over and point my tail towards the station. Right like that. What I want to do is I want to push this green X onto the pink ball. The pink X, the pink Y. I actually don't know what that's even called. What I can do is make a straight line. I've got the pink Y, I've got the green X, and I've got where I'm pointing. And when I burn right here, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to slow down my target relative velocity, how quickly I'm going towards the station, and I'm also going to bend my orbit so that the trajectory takes me over that. Watch when I do that. So see, not only is this going down, but I'm also pushing that over. The further away I go, the faster it'll move. There we're loading into... I think we're loading into that. Physics range. Alright, there we go. And just keep pushing it over until it gets right over it like that. I did a little bit too much to one side. Let's do a little bit like this. And I'm going to go ahead and leave about 10 meters per second. The second thing, I'm coasting towards that target. It's only 2.1 kilometers away. I've pointed this at it. Let me get a little bit more accurate here. The more I point over to the side, that physics chug though, the more I point over to the side, the less I'll reduce my speed and the more I'll actually push the green X. So now I've pushed it just about directly over it. It feels like I could push it a little bit in this. Look, I could also do this. I can also use RCS, right? Although this is exactly where I want it. Is it moving up and down? It's moving up. Alright. I can also turn on RCS. And I can actually burn my RCS to move that. See how the green thing moves whenever I burn the RCS in different directions? What I can do now is check my rendezvous. I should have an insane rendezvous. I bet you this says 0.0. It says 0.0 kilometers. And all I did was change it. I moved that green X around so that it was over the pink X. Not only did I do that, but I was efficient about it. I slowed down, and at the same time, I bent that green X, the trajectory, over towards the space station. Let me make sure I don't have RCS on. Yeah. The next thing we're going to do, 13 meters per second. Let's go get a little bit closer to the station. Let's go down to under a kilometer. 1.4, 1.3. Again, could I turn around and burn faster? Whoa, it's going up fast. Yes, I could turn around and burn faster. I would rather just use time warp because it doesn't cost fuel, right? Next thing I'm going to do, I actually want to come in on the top of the station. So I'm going to point like this, opposite of what I think, because these are the opposite, so I have to think opposite. When I burn down like this, it is actually going to push the green ball up to the top of the station and slow me down. Yeah, that is the top. That's right. So because I'm pointed backwards and my dorsal is upside down, having that over like that, my craft is upside down, going backwards, I'm good to go. If the dorsal side was up, let's do it. Let's illustrate it right quick. If the dorsal side was up, it would look like we're below it because that's opposite day. Because I have everything opposite, including my craft orientation, rotating my dorsal side upside down like this. When I'm working with the tail, putting my dorsal side down like a shark, right? The fin, the dorsal side goes down. When I put this down, that means that the green X on the nav ball and the pink X down below it, I'm going to float above the station. The other thing that I want to do is slow down all the way, basically. If I'm pointing retrograde to the station, let me actually buy myself some more time here. I'm going to kill some more of this velocity just so I can buy more time to talk about what's going on the nav ball and on the screen. So let's go ahead and just, I'm going to put her down to like 2 meters per second or something slow like that. Something that we can use RCS. There we go. So now, let me flip the craft over, right? And look at what happens whenever I flip over. When I flip over, and I look at it here, you can actually see that the green ball is putting me up above the station. Also, the station is oriented to the north. The station is pointing north and south, right? So what is happening here? The reason I'm interested in my dorsal side, it looks like the docking port is, clearly it is currently occupied. Do I have docking ports on the end of it? I do have docking ports on the end of it, so I'll try for one of these docking ports. What I need to do, we'll just tell him to move out of the way. That's the other 4X craft that we built. So what's happening on the screen actually matches here what I see on the nav ball because I know which is the dorsal side of my craft. The dorsal side is up on the screen, flying like a plane. Is the Hilton rotating for some reason? That's interesting. Let me go ahead and just slow down. And I can also use RCS to tweak it because I've got the dorsal side up. Look, if I use J, the green ball moves to the left. That means that I'm actually going to be tweaking my approach to the station over to the left. If I use I, the green ball is going to go down. That means that I'm going to be tweaking my approach down. I actually need to slam on the brakes here because we're going to need some time to get that other ship out of the way. But again, we're just using RCS. By getting lined up like that, you can dock using so little RCS. It is definitely a good thing to know how that nav ball works and to know how you can get a very good alignment. That right there looks good. Let's switch over to the hotel. Why are you spinning? That doesn't make any sense why it was spinning. Because time warp should have kept it from spinning, honestly. There's the space plane just waiting for a port to open up. I'm just going to get this guy out of the way. I don't understand why the space station was spinning. It shouldn't have been... I did, but it shouldn't have stuck in. DK! How is it going, senor? How is your shindig? There you go. Let's just make this station stop rotating. I started it spinning, but it shouldn't have kept the rotation when I went away from it. When you go off of a craft, it should totally no longer have the rotation. I think if I hold this down, it'll actually slow it down faster. Or am I spinning it faster now? You know what we could do? Ta-da! In the interest of stream time, right? Just use that non-physical time warp, and we are good to go. There's a port on the bottom. There's not a port down there. That's actually a big engine. There are ports over here, but I'm going to go ahead and dock with the top of it just so it's really obvious what's going on. Let me get this other ship out of the way. This is what we did earlier in the Euro stream, Kerbal Space Academy, for the rendezvous and docking. We actually made that little ship, which looks a lot like our other ship. What is that? Let me kill this right quick. So that you don't have to listen to my alarm. Yes. Alarm on my tablet started going off. Apparently I was supposed to wake up earlier. So now I've got this little ship decoupled. I'm going to go ahead and just move him out of the way like this. I don't think I refueled him or anything. He's fine. In fact, we could actually just start to deorbit that guy, but if y'all want, we'll do that during free play. I do need to send this guy home. And let us just get him out of the way using some time warp. That turns off the physics, and it just makes everything go faster. And I'm not going to redock him. I'll just put him on station over here away from this, right? There we go. Use my RCS to go ahead and kill this off. I just want that relative velocity. No alphanumerics! Thank you for the follow, No Alphanumerics. That's a cool name. And I'm just going to burn this down. There we go, 0. Put him on station over there. He's just waiting. We'll dock him somewhere else or something like that. Let's go back to our space plane. Honestly, the hotel is a little bit big. But let's get this set up. I'm going to activate my RCS. I'm going to use RCS to go towards the station so that I get this green ball right here, right? That's all I really care about, the green ball and my orientation to the station. And what I want to be doing, let's just go ahead and put her up to 5 meters per second. 0.5 meters per second, sorry. Just put it over there, and I'm going to time warp so that I can float over the top of the station. Just like that. And again, the reason this is so easy is because I know which side is dorsal. I've got this set up where the dorsal side of the craft is like that. That means that the nav ball matches. If I was with this craft like this, and I was trying to fly it sideways like that, the nav ball would not be telling me that I was coming in over the station. It looks like I'm coming into the side, right? But if I put the dorsal side of my craft up like this, the nav ball mimics what's happening on the screen. I think that's really important to understand. When I'm oriented like this with the hatches, the dorsal side, those batteries that I put on there, up, that means that the nav ball mimics what I'm doing. What else can I do with that, right? I can move my green ball down so that I'm going a little bit closer to the station. I can rotate down a little bit. Again, this is kind of chunky. Usually when I do the rendezvous and docking, I do it with very small part counts, so it's nice and smooth. This is something we made with the Advanced Orbital Construction KSA class. Fly over the top of it. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just flying over the top of this. And I feel like I need to get a little bit closer. Maybe this direction a little bit. Just working that green ball. And because dorsal's up, I can actually work the green ball and see that I'm coming in directly over the station. Let's see what else we've got. See how I'm actually drifting in that direction? I'm drifting right where I need to go to get directly over that station. That is exactly what we're trying to do. So, next thing, am I high enough? I do believe that I'm high enough. I'm just bringing the plane in over the top of the station here. I need some green faceplate. What? Obey the speed limit in and around the space station. Yes! The orbital, the space operations manual tells us that we need to obey the space limit. Ritterick, thank you so much. I do appreciate it, Ritterick, for you hanging out. You've been here for a while. There was no scratch on the Hilton. Here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to control our docking port, control from our docking port, and we are going to set this docking port as our target. Set as target. We can turn off Kerbal Engineer. We don't really need it right now. That is going to tell us, wow, we're already there? Oh, yes. Let's burn this RCS in the correct direction, which is like this. I've apparently already blown over the top of the docking port. Did I set the docking port correctly? Because it sure doesn't look like it. It must be something like that sort of deal. Honestly, it doesn't look like we're ready yet. Is this not actually the... Huh. Anyways. Let's go ahead and slow it down, and we're going to figure out what's going on. I have a feeling I might not have the target set correctly, right? Because I want this right here to be the target, please. Target. Huh. Is that some sort of bug, I wonder? Control from here. Did I not control from there? No, I did. Anybody know what's going on there? Let's see if we can't go down towards that docking port. Because right now this is telling me that I'm nowhere near aligned with it. Maybe it's just the distance we are from it. Let's see what we can do. And go down, which is this direction here. There we go. Is that something with a docking port being attached radially or something? Because it does not look like it's working. Lights on the planet. Yeah, it's actually from the better controlling from docking port. Yeah. Am I off to the side that far? It doesn't really feel like we should be that far off, but let's see if we can do it. So I just want to grab that. Let's kill some of the vertical velocity. Let's go ahead and do that and just see if I can't burn till we are lined up with it. You know something? We're going to go further away from it. Let's get a little bit more of an approach. I came in a little bit too good. So let's go up away from it like this. Let's go ahead and do this number so that we're basically going straight up from it. That already looks a lot better. All right. The further I am away, the more resolution or the less resolution I get. So we can actually just guide this in. Let's do it this way. We came in too close. I was a little bit too precise with my getting up there. Let's see what we've got. I'm just going to get a ways away from the station here. And then we are going to, let's see here, like this. Again, straight lines mean that you're doing something right. I'm just moving away from the station, and then I'm going to stop moving away from the station. Way up here, and let's see how this works. Da-da-da-da-da, there we go. So I just got that green ball right underneath it, and I'm actually going to burn against it. I'm just pressing H because I'm controlling from the docking port, right? Now let's go towards the station, and we can show how we're supposed to be doing this. All right, there we go. So we've got the green ball. And the trick here, I need to point inside the red ball. I need to move the red ball so that it's in the middle of the purple ball using the green ball. What does that mean? That means that I need to situate myself, so I'm pointing in the red ball. I need to put the green ball off to the side to pull the red ball onto it. So what's happening here, I'm just making a straight line. If the red ball, actually let's do it this way, look. If I was totally foobar, and the red ball was like way over here. Like that. Right? Let's go fix that. If the red ball was way up here, I would want to make a straight line between the red ball, my vector, my heading, which is that right there, the purple ball and the green ball, with the green ball down below it. What that means is that it's actually pulling me down towards the purple ball. When the purple ball and the red ball are together, that means that we're perfectly lined up for docking. That doesn't look like it though, does it? And I'm definitely not off the side. Something is basically wrong what's going on. And the ship, your red ball and the ship dorsal are not aligned. That's okay, I'm not really worried about that. Something is seriously wrong. It's targeting something way down there. It looks like it's actually not controlling from that docking port, y'all. It is controlling from right. Look, I want to control from here. We have some serious problems. It's trying to line up this. It's totally trying to line up my pod. That is a bug. That is a bug in that navball docking tool not working. Huh. I've never encountered that before. I'm going to have to do it gold school. We're not going to have any problems with that. That is a bug in that docking ball. Huh. How about that? Let's just do it like this. There was a time when I had to dock and I didn't even know what the green thing on the nav ball was, so let's just get this done. We can definitely do it. We've been trying to illustrate some things, and I think I have just illustrated a bug. It's not controlling from the docking port, it's controlling from the pod, apparently. And that is a problem. If we were to not have this weird off-axis docking port, if we had used the original docking port we were going to go with, that would make the docking easy. But apparently that little bit of a bug there does not make it particularly easy. We'll just do it the old way. Let's slow down. That's not slowing down. This is slowing down. And let's go down towards it and just do it the old way. This is why I don't like really putting docking ports on weird parts of the ship like this. But we're still going to get it docked. We're just not going to have any visual aids, any cheat sheets to do it for us. I'm okay with that though. So we're just going to go ahead and ease it down. That angle looks good. That angle, we could go back just a little bit. The ship isn't even set as the target anymore. There's the magnets kicking in. I can still dock without the mods. Now it looks like a trophy on the top. So anyways, that's interesting. I'm actually run into that. It's a shame to find these bugs. I don't know. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to highlight that, and I'll send it off to the creator of that. So that is what we should do. Interesting. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got docked. What we can do... Good job. Nice. Silver Act. That's awesome. What did we just miss? Actually, so there's a lot of congratulations going on the channel. Let's see here. When your uncle walks into your house. Dude, Nikium. That's freaking awesome. You should tell your uncle thank you for everybody here at my stream, at the very least, when he's supposed to be in Iraq. That is totally awesome. Tell him thank you for everybody for what he does, because I totally appreciate that. I've got some buddies that are over that way. My multi-wing designs. Yeah, you like those multi-wing designs, DK? Let me get caught up with the chat, see if I missed anything. Use the Force. I'm going to have to do it old school. Yeah, I'm going to turn off my docking computer. Let's see if there's anything else. I need free... DOS. Chronarch. What was that? Retrograde node. Retrograde node. Interesting. Though DOS. What is an orbit bender? DOS is an orbit bender. Thank you. If you drag the node fully... Yep. Okay, so I've already been called all the way back up to there. And here we have the shuttle successfully landed back at the Orbital Hilton. Or at the Orbital Hilton in the first place. The really cool thing is, I wonder how much vacuum meter per second this shuttle would have. I bet you the shuttle could get you to Lathe. Alrighty. Anything else? I think so. Were there any questions about anything we did? We did spend a lot of time debugging this plane. There's still some additional fixes we could do to it. We don't need all those tanks. But honestly, one of the things I was going to say, right now something we could do, we could actually totally tank up this bird and see how much vacuum delta V it has, right? So let's see what happens. If you have any questions, you want me to look at anything else, let me know. I'm going to totally tank up this bird and see how far it could fly. Victory EVA. That may be one of the cool things about having empty fuel space. We didn't need to fill that up when we took off. We were still able to get this SSTO off the ground with the empty fuel space. But now that we're in space, we don't really care about the extra mass. We don't need to worry about the lift. If we tank her all the way up, I wonder how much delta V she'll have. Bring it to Lathe. Nice. The shockwave. The wings will start to go with the air going between them, right? Let's see. Let's tank this guy up. That may be a really cool design, actually. An SSTO that launches with tanks that aren't quite full, stops at the station to fill up, and then can go even further. Huh. We could put a hotel in orbit around Lathe, maybe. That would be cool. In stock, they're fine. Space station repair missions, that would definitely be cool. I would like to get either science or funds for it. That little guy off on the side. Does anybody want to see the... Does anybody want to see... There's no infrastructure at Lathe, by the way. There's no infrastructure there whatsoever. So if we did go to Lathe, we may not be able to make it back, honestly. I'm not sure. There may... Yeah, not in this save. No, there's no infrastructure at Lathe on this save. Is anybody interested in seeing the atmospheric trajectories mod? Because I do have a ship here that I need to deorbit. I think I might actually do that just to get the part count around the station down. I do need to deorbit the thing. And we're just continuing trucking along here, right? Dude, I missed it. The Vanvito. The Vanvino. I totally missed that. Gav, thanks so much, man. Take it easy. DK, were you going to stream tonight, maybe? Were you going to do like a makeup stream or anything? Were you interested in that? I was originally planned to stop at midnight, but I am not going to drop the KSP torch. That is definitely for sure. I will not drop the KSP torch. So if you're interested, Mass Driver, Mass Driver.